Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. My name is Mark Pinoli and I'm your MC for today's special club meeting, the President's Changeover Lunch. Most important, we would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation and also pay our respects to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all Indigenous Australians who are joining us. Today we have our first Changeover hybrid meeting, with members and supporters joining us via Zoom, so welcome to our online guests, and a warm welcome to all of our guests here at the Sofitel. In a few moments, we will break for lunch, and please take the opportunity to connect with friends. And we will return with President Marion presenting the David Whitner Mentoring Award and reviewing what was a stellar year for the club. Marion will then hand over the baton to President-elect Reg Smith, who will no longer be President-elect, but our new President, who will also introduce the incoming board. After the formalities, our esteemed member, David Cram, has arranged a very special performance. And finally, our meeting will close with a raffle draw with some exceptional prizes, courtesy of several of our very generous members. Guests, please ensure your glass is charged. The reflection today will be given by Peter Hollingworth, then followed by the loyal toast presented by President Marion. Peter.
Thank you, Mark. In those calmer years of 2018, the leadership of our club looked forward in a document called Towards 2022. It was a remarkable strategic plan still in progress. It affirmed our vision, our purpose and our values in setting the elements of the plan. That is, to make the world a better place, to inspire others to do amazing things and to celebrate and share. The action plan focused upon humanitarian programs at home and abroad, in making those goals a reality. There was an emphasis on club development, increasing diversity and inclusion, building Rotary's profile and making it attractive, relevant, effective, and of course, to celebrate the 100 years of Rotary in Australasia. Today, we give thanks for all those who've been involved in achieving those goals. The presentations of our two Vice Presidents last week, for those who were here, demonstrated the remarkable range and extent of activities and projects in process up to now. All this despite these extraordinarily difficult times which have taken their toll on us all. Yet we must be thankful that in spite of this, remarkable things have been achieved. Negative factors take their toll on all human beings, making it hard for us to be our best selves all the time. Yet they can inspire us in coming together in a sense of healing and renewed relationships in transforming us and our club environment. Today is a time of leadership transition when we remember especially Marion and her team and Reg now and his. Believing that this will be a smooth transition as we all strive to fulfil goals of the past over the coming year. So, 2022 is ahead of us, the end of the 4-year plan. May I quote Paul the Apostle to end? Now, he said, abide these 3 things: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So let it be released in abundance among us and all whom we work with. Thank
you. Rotarians and guests, a toast to Australia and Rotary International. Australia and Rotary International. Thank you. Please remain standing. It is with great sadness that I inform the club of the passing of our dear friend and colleague, past President and Honorary Life Member, Jack Melbourne. Jack grew up in Adelaide and Melbourne and subsequently obtained a Bachelor of Engineering degree from Adelaide University. a diploma in metallurgy from the South Australian School of Mines, and later a member of the a Master of Administration from Monash University. His business career was spent in the fields of international engineering and construction in the UK, the US, and Australia. Jack was inducted into the club in 1982. However, he left the club 6 years later in 1988 to take up a position with Fleur Daniel in the USA. And while living in California, he joined the Newport Beach Sunrise Rotary Club. On returning home in 1993, he rejoined our club and subsequently served as chairman of numerous committees, as a director in 1987 to 88, as vice president 96 to 99, and then as president from 99 to 2000. In his work with the club, Jack's focus was on homelessness and the underprivileged and youth. He worked assiduously with the Welfare of the Young Committee, playing a major part in the club's 2 Prevention of Youth Homelessness conferences. Subsequently, he was chairman of the Inner City Youth Committee, which was part of the Victorian Government's initiative for dealing with issues relating to young people. He also served as chairman of the Rotary Foundation Committee and was always an excellent source of sound advice to the board. He was awarded a Paul Harris Fellow in '98 and was an active member of Melbourne's Central One and Mornington Peninsula groups. His remarkable service to the club was acknowledged when he was elevated as Honorary Life Member in 2017. Jack passed away on Wednesday, the 23rd of June, at the age of 92. A funeral service is to be held at the Church of the Christ, South Yarra, at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Jack was an esteemed and much-loved member of the club, and he will be sadly missed. Our thoughts are with his family. Thank you all, and please be seated. The main course will be served, and we'll return shortly. Thank you, Peter. Well, that didn't take long. I hope you've all got at least one mouthful in. Members, visitors and guests, I warmly welcome you to this, our very special President's Changeover, where we induct our 105th President, Reg Smith. It is with pleasure that we have with us today a number of guests and visitors. As a guest of the club and representing the family of our esteemed past President, David Whitner, we have his son, Michael Whitner. We have some other distinguished guests, and I'll invite you to stand when your name is called out. So from District 9800, we have District Governor Philip Archer, District Governor-elect Dale Hoy and his wife Maureen, District Governor-elect nominee, our very own Mandy Went. I saw her earlier on, she's there. Assistant District Governor Batman Cluster, Kate Strain. Assistant District Governor-elect for Batman Cluster, Murray Anderson. The entertainment, courtesy of David Cram, is with our entertainer Richard Hobson. We have President-elect, for a moment, Reg Smith and his wife Sue Smith, my partner Michael Harvey and my daughter and club member Sarah Macleod. And online amongst our guests, we have Paul Elsley, President from the Rotary Club of Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Some other guests of members include Manuel Marquet, guest of Robert Fisher, Marie Garland, guest of Ted Garland, Victoria Pickett, guest of Bill Pickett, Lynn Danoon, guest of David Danoon, Katrina Tallerood Bay, guest of Norman Tallerood Bay, Trudy Callanan, guest of Keith Callanan, Leslie Jones, guest of Ian Jones, Jane Burgess, guest of Bob Burgess, Greg Harbour, guest of Amanda Went, Kerry Barry, guest of Jim Barry, Di Gillies, guest of Rob Nethercutt, Janet Wong, guest of Chris Wong, Daniel Hertzfeld, guest of Peter Berg. Please join me in welcoming them. What a wonderful turnout. I now invite our outgoing District Governor, Philip Archer, to the podium to briefly address the club. Over to you, Philip.
Thank you ever so much, Marion, President Marion. You have had a fantastic year in what's got to be the most challenging one we've faced in a long time. You and your team have done a remarkable job to celebrate the centenary of Rotary. Folks, I'd like everyone to give Marion and her team a round of applause. We certainly have reflected on the centenary of Rotary in Australia and New Zealand and the wonderful activities of this club over the last 100 years. We've respected the work of our forebears and we've celebrated like only Rotary can. And those celebrations will continue for the next 6 months or so in Reg's year, and I'm sure the work that the club has undertaken for the past century will be matched by Reg and his team's activities. I have no doubt about that. But I have one challenge for everyone that I'm going to leave you with, and that is, through your activities as members and the activities of this club, I would like all of us to help reimagine capitalism. Capitalism as it relates to businesses. I'd like the businesses that we deal with day to day in Australia to send their future leaders to Rotary, to clubs like yours and mine, so that together we can help them connect with community groups, with government, and with the public to create a more resilient community. If we can share with them just some of what we do in Rotary when it comes to creating the right environment for a club in a sustainable fashion, with good governance in mind, then we will help our communities around the clubs or across the world to be far more prosperous. And that is for every one of us to do. We have done a remarkable job. In the most difficult of years, if we could have done that, then I think this challenge to help reimagine capitalism, to make sure that businesses aren't just about profit, it is about community, because we in business, men and women in business, know that to run a good business, you really do need a fabulous community that is resilient. So that is our challenge. I'm very comfortable with the year that we've had. You will see more in our district annual report, and I'm more than comfortable with the person that I'm handing over the district mantle to in Dale Hoy and Maureen. Tricia and I really do want to congratulate you for taking on that role, and you will get our total support. Reg and your team, Reg, the district is there. As you know, we've become closer over the last 12 months, and there's been a lot of collaboration going on. So thank you to Marion for a fabulous year. Reg, I'm sure you will have a great year as well, and I'm looking forward to being part of the work that we do in collaboration together. Thank you so much, Marion.
And just a note to Philip and his assistant, Kate Strain. This last year was not a year any of us expected. And if you'd attended the Vice President's Day, you would have seen what remarkable work has been going on in our club in a very tricky year. But District Governor Philip Archer also managed to put us online in a way that we've never done before. And he introduced 2 satellite clubs at the same time and increased his membership as we did. That's extraordinary in the year that we've had. So please join me in thanking both Philip Archer and Kate Strain. So now it's my great pleasure to look at the Mentoring Award in memory of past President David Whitner. The Rotary Club of Melbourne Mentoring Award recognises a Rotarian who has excelled as a mentor and advocate for Rotary. The David Whitner Mentoring Award was initiated in 2019 in past President Robert Fisher's presidency. David Whitner had an extraordinary commitment to Rotary that spanned 54 years until his sudden passing in 2018. The award represented the board's acknowledgement not just of his contribution to Rotary, but of the great role that David had played in mentoring many members and indeed the community at large. This annual award was an appropriate acknowledgement of his pivotal role in the club and to honour David's remarkable service to Rotary. This annual award, the recipient, receives a framed citation and holds the trophy for a year. The multifaceted design of this trophy is a reminder of the breadth of character that was David Whitner. Past recipients have been Cynthia Edgell and Mary Barry, who have exemplified the role of service above self and have willingly provided mentoring and the ideal of giving back through Rotary. This year, the award goes to Robert Fisher. It is a fitting tribute that the award should go to Robert Fisher, whose commitment and ability to mentor both formally and informally is so highly regarded. Robert has been actively involved in the mentoring of new members and is an active mentor of the Police Mentoring Programme and the Melbourne City Council Student Mentoring Initiative. His engagement with AFRI Auscare, members of the club and individuals has shown a commitment to them and the future of the club that is clearly meritorious of this award. I will now call Michael Whitner to the podium to confer this award on our most recent recipient. And after Michael has conferred the award, I would invite Robert just to say a few words. Thank you. Again, congratulate Robert.
Well, thank you, President Marion, for your generous words. And I would like to congratulate you on completing a very successful year in extremely challenging circumstances as president of our club. So well done, Marion, again. I'd also like to thank you and your board for this recognition. For me, I guess being a happy Rotarian is not so much about receiving awards as it's about developing friendships and engaging in the many projects that we have in our communities at home and abroad. That said, I would like to acknowledge my unofficial, long-suffering Rotary mentor, Chris Wong. Chris has been with me right across my 15-year Rotary career. I nearly said journey. My 15-year Rotary career, and has been a tremendous support to me. Others I've had around me over the years would certainly include the late, great David Whitner. I would rate David as a consummate Rotarian, somebody for whom I had an enormous regard during his lifetime. And it's in his memory that I am proud and honored to accept this award. So God bless David. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you, Michael Whitner and Robert Fisher. Now, I'd just like to say a few words. Dear fellow Rotarians, as I sum up the year that was our centennial year, can I say that it has been an absolute privilege to be your president in this centennial year. Our club has some of the best and most committed community service-minded people I know. In particular, our stalwart members, our amazing project champions, and everyone on our board. If you had any doubts about what our club can do, then the Vice President's Day would have dispelled those. I have presented this summary in the bulletin and provided a snapshot of the year in pictures, but would like to just summarise some of the highlights of the year. This will undoubtedly miss many of the routines of our club that are the backbone to our community service and the incredible efforts that were made to have these continue in the strange circumstances of this year. But they should not be forgotten. Our club has operated throughout COVID to support its community as if there was no COVID. It has been the support and commitment of our board that has kept our club going through this difficult year. We've had our ups and we've had a couple of downs, but the ups have by far outweighed them. The year started, though, with a delightful poem from Barbara Yorondas that I'd like to share with you again, because it lifted my spirits no end. Smiling is infectious, you catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I passed around the corner and someone saw my grin. When he smiled, I realized I'd passed it on to him. I thought about that smile, then I realized its worth. A single smile, just like mine, could travel round the earth. So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Let's start an epidemic quick and get the world infected. Much better form of infection, let me tell you. With COVID, our plans had to change, and we all learnt some new languages, including pivot and you're on mute. And pivot we did. Our first Cross Rotary Centenary event, the Baton Exchange, had to pivot thanks to the hard work I mentioned earlier of our District Governor, Philip Archer, and his colleague in Sydney, Gary Brown. In our centenary celebratory year, and even during lockdown, we managed to successfully profile our wonderful R100 projects and enjoy a tremendous centenary lunch that made all in attendance so proud to be part of Rotary, and especially our club. Our year raised over 118,000 for Rotary Give Every Child a Future. That was thanks to the work of our new awardee, Robert Fisher and Chris Wong. Healing the Hurt received 100,000 towards programs for mental health. Safe Families established an ambassadors program that now has 20 ambassadors and 15 waiting in the wings. End Trachoma, the Hush Foundation and hepatitis awareness projects also had their successes. I remain incredibly honoured to have been selected as your president and to have fulfilled my commitment to all those that put faith in me. In reflecting upon our objectives, the board has indeed addressed very many of the challenges it set for itself in advance of the year. We've introduced a number of new members, including 15 new members, with 7 more waiting to go, and increasing our ordinary membership by 6, thanks to the incredible efforts of Shanti Dabu, Kerry Kornhauser and their teams. By profiling Rotary and its members and its projects, they enabled Rotary to put its best foot forward in engaging with those who would join or collaborate with us. This also included a strengthened relationship with the City of Melbourne. Shanti and her team collected Rotary stories from many of our members and many in the room here today, and initiated topic-specific events, including international speakers, which raised the profile of our club and its followers. Her topics included navigating the challenges and opportunities in retirement, new and emerging leaders, business and professional connections, positive energy for a better world, mentoring in Rotary, and what it means in practice. This created much social media interest and a cohort of international followers. We managed to continue to have higher than usual membership engagement, even although this was mostly on Zoom, which was briefly novel, as I recall. Before, we longed for our face-to-face meetings. We've only had 4 ordinary face-to-face meetings in the year. But our events team of Chris Stillwell, Suresh Mercandan, Michaela Stafracci and Renata Bernardi ensured we had fantastic speakers and were kept knowledgeable of the COVID challenges. Our event featuring Brett Sutton was converted to a webinar so as to manage the extraordinary interest, with 300,000 click-throughs and over 3,000 subscribing to the event. And I can see Reg quivering as we speak because we had to pivot so fast that week, didn't we? And Mark was there in the background doing it all for us. We introduced the Great Debate with Sydney as a fun way to engage with our centenary club, and both Sydney and Wellington are longing for a return bout to challenge us for the Stillwell Cup, which we retained. We received the Platinum Club Major Donor Award, the highest rated club in Zone 8 for all-time giving, for raising nearly $812,000 since it started. Behind the scenes, we had Nina Hunter, Peter Wischusen, Mark Panoli, Ari Talantis, and Yiran Z preparing and sharing all our fantastic stories via vignettes, via the events, and via social media. David Carruthers championed the memberships lunch program and brought us insights from our members, both new and old. There was always Jo Mavris to help with the organisation, and we discovered that she's got a special talent for spotlighting us all on Zoom. Our governance team of Russell Board, Peter Hanlon, Peter Davis and Tony Greenwood ensured that our governance practice remained absolutely best class, and they continue to manage improvements to our policies and constitution. Our projects could not have been more important for this year, and whilst Jim Orchard led the Caravan project to provide the physical support for the bushfire recovery, Pam Brown and Norman Tallerud Bay led the mental health support with their training and the Healing the Hurt programs. Norman also managed to get this RAG to DGR1 status. Our Safe Families program took off with the Ambassador Initiative championed by Dorothy Gilmore, and as a result, we now have dozens of clubs fundraising for their own local initiatives and raising awareness of this shocking problem, using the assets developed by both Dorothy and Mary Barry. Our International Women's Day fundraiser and Kerry Kornhauser and Robin Hollins led the team. They managed to reach a record 4,000 plus viewers with a stellar speaking cast that included our Lord Mayor Sally Capp and Jacinda Ardern, who has been rated the highest ranking Prime Minister globally. We also attended the celebratory events and further strengthened our relationships with the other centenary clubs of Sydney, Wellington and Auckland, and our sister city clubs, including a strengthening alignment with Amiens through David Cram. Women Can prospered under Michaela Stafracci and grew exponentially. We were also able to provide some opportunities for our worst smitten community under COVID, and the arts community was enlisted to engage with us on a number of occasions. The Centenary Lunch and following Peace Symposium, which had to pivot quickly in the COVID environment, were both exceptional events. The lunch celebrated the best of Rotary, featuring the 100 years of the projects that make us proud to be Rotarians, including those especially developed by the R100 team, alongside a presentation of the future as outlined by our Moona School students. The lunch was exceptionally well executed by our past presidents, led by Chris Stillwell, and the Peace Symposium was equally well orchestrated by Murray Verso, Mark Pinoli and their teams. In this new post-COVID world, we have set in train a comprehensive effort to provide hybrid meetings into the future. This will combine the best of our online and face-to-face meetings and be inclusive of our diverse and growing membership, and is being championed by President-to-be, very shortly, Reg Smith. In the background, maintaining the routines of the club were the hard-working members of our club. This included the lunch organising team, Second Bite, Round the Bay, and the committee work that managed to transition within this strange environment and keep our suite of awards and special meetings on track. Our newer members, including Serena Lowe, Yudan Z, Claire Fraser, George Gimadakis, and Sarah McLeod-Burke, also put their shoulder to the wheel, bringing new skills, supporting that online environment. For those who attended our VP's Day, you would have seen how much has actually been achieved. Our international team, with all of the recent constraints, was still able to support those less fortunate by shipping sewing machines to East Timor, supporting Cambodians and many other projects. Our newest committee, the Environmental Sustainability Committee, hit the road running by working on our carbon footprint and initiating a new award for environmental sustainability. It was a stellar performance by the whole club. Sadly, we lost a few members and colleagues along the way, and I'd like us to take a moment to remember them. Thank you. So serving the majority of the club has been an absolute honour. So as we end the year, I hope you feel as proud as I do of our strong, vibrant and dynamic club and its members. A club that took us through COVID, celebrated its centenary with panache, and is ready and set for a vibrant future in the post-COVID world. Copies of the Centenary Lunch, by the way, are available from Joe, I believe, somewhere. And as our outgoing board farewells our members, we all wish the incoming board another spectacular lineup of Rotarians and the first year of the new century our very best wishes. I look forward to returning after a break, and in the meantime, wish you all the very best. So now I have the privilege of inducting our new president. I'd now like to call on Reg Smith, our president for 2021-22. Reg has been a very active member of our club, and many will have seen him in more recent times as he became a master of Zoom and the technologies that have kept us connected all through last year. Reg was born in Australia and grew up in Melbourne. He and his wife, Sue, moved to Canberra in the late 1970s, where Reg worked as an education and training policy advisor. He's a Bachelor of Arts from Monash and an MBA from Deakin University, and also attended INSEAD and Harvard executive programs. In his late teens, Reg participated in a 12-month student exchange in Redwood City, California. As Silicon Valley was nearby, that sowed the seeds for his adoption of technology that we see today. That life-changing experience reinforced Reg's commitment to social justice and peace through international understanding and volunteering. After living in Canberra, he and his family returned to Melbourne, and he worked for ANZ, ANZIT Australia and AWB Limited in senior human resource and industrial relations roles. He moved into management consulting, advising on governance, strategic planning and strategy execution. Reg has served on several not-for-profit boards, including Anglicare Victoria and the Board of Trustees of AFS International. Reg joined Rotary Melbourne in May 2008 and has served as Melbourne Group Captain, Audit and Risk Committee Chair, Vocational Service Chair, On-to Conference Chair, Board Member, Honorary Secretary and Vice President. Reg is supported by his wife of more than 50 years, Sue. Their adult son and daughter live overseas, pursuing successful careers, and they have one grandchild and another on the way. I now invite President-elect Reg to be invested as President of the Rotary Club of Melbourne for 2021 to 22. Reg, you have been chosen by the Rotary Club of Melbourne to assume the high office of Club President for the year 21-22, as we believe you possess the required qualities of leadership and command the esteem and confidence of your fellow members. You have served Rotary and the club with distinction and in a commendable manner, and you have a working knowledge of the rules of the club and the object of Rotary. You have attended the training seminar for Presidents-elect as required in preparation for your term in office. You have undertaken to give the time and effort necessary to lead and carry on the work of the club in a meaningful and dignified manner. We, the members of the Rotary Club of Melbourne, pledge to you our support and loyalty during the year as together we strive to achieve the ideals of Rotary service. It now gives me great pleasure to pass to you the presidential chain of office, the special RCM President's lapel pin, which I'm told we have to guard with our lives, and I've left it down on the table, but it's there. It's one of a kind, so you must guard it with your life, and most importantly, the true symbol of power in the RCM club, the keys to the office. I know that you will be a great president, and we extend to you our congratulations and best wishes for a productive and exciting year ahead as president for the Rotary year 21-22. Rotarians and guests, I give you our new president, Reg Smith. Now, we have a couple of formalities before I hand over to Reg. No. Photo. It's a photo. So fine. There you go. Just having a little senior moment. I'll call out to Joe. Is it flowers now? Yes. Excellent. Okay. So before I leave the podium, I would just like to invite my partner, Michael Harvey, to present a final gift of congratulations to Sue Smith. just a slight logistics problem here.
More pictures.
More pictures, there we go. I apologise, but remember we were in COVID when this happened last year, so we're allowed a little lapse. The last tribute is obviously to our fantastic office manager who has pivoted more than any of us. In fact, she's been pirouetting all year, chasing us all and trying to work out what we're all doing. Without Jo, none of us would be able to do what we do, and it is a team effort. We managed to pass on the chain of office seamlessly there because of the team effort that Reg and I have been. I'd like to call Jo now and thank her. Can you join me in thanking Jo? I now have much pleasure in handing over the rest of the meeting to Reg. Welcome, Reg. President Reg.
Okay. The enormity of the role has just descended on me. Several items that I need to defend with my life. Just to acknowledge him, I'd like to share with you that my son Nicholas, who lives in Los Angeles, has also joined us on Zoom today, and it's just great. So, Rotarians and guests, but first of all I'll say thank you so much, Marion, for your generous words, and I have a little more to say on that in a minute. Rotarians and guests, today I'm absolutely privileged and honoured to accept the presidency of Rotary Melbourne for the year 2021-2022. I feel incredibly proud because Rotary Melbourne is not only the first Rotary club in Australia and New Zealand, it is Australia's largest club, has over 100 years of service, and has been led by some astonishingly talented people and inspiring individuals who have led the club to make profound impact and contributions to our community within and well beyond Melbourne. Thank you, Rotary Melbourne members, for your confidence and support of me. It means a lot to me and I'll give it my best shot. I want to say a special thank you to outgoing President Marion and her board for their efforts in 2021. Marion and her board have diligently applied their skills to leading the club and adapting. This has laid promising foundations for our next century. Marion, we wish you well in your break from formal activities over the next 12 months, and I'm sure you will be taking a well-deserved break. Let me now turn my attention by focusing on the year ahead for the remainder of my brief address. I'll pose and answer three questions. Firstly, what does the Rotary International President's theme for 21-22 mean for us all? Second, what are the things I'm committed to in the coming year? And I guess one of the things you might be interested to know is how I plan to lead. Firstly, the coming year's theme, serve to save lives. Serve to change lives, I apologise. Have you ever had someone come up to you at a meeting, at a gathering, and say, you were giving this address or talking to me socially maybe 10 years ago. You said a couple of things that really went straight to my inner self and changed everything for me, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you. That's happened to me a couple of times, and I reckon I see a few nods around the room. I'm guessing that's happened for many of us. To me, the theme embodies perfectly the core Rotary value of service above self, but it takes it a step further. The fundamental impact of our service has on people and communities is what matters the most. Service that changes lives helps those we serve to become self-reliant. Remember too that service has a positive impact on our own health and well-being, and that's a well-established researched fact. When someone is empowered, amazing things happen that make change in their life possible. Let's ponder the outcomes of 8 projects, which I think have been amply mentioned as pretty spectacular contributions from the club, but I like to think about the impact. Firstly, portable solar electric lighting has eliminated damaging gases from burning fuels in enclosed spaces for people in the Pacific Islands who otherwise do not have access to electricity. Participants in the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program learn communication and collaboration skills that dramatically strengthen their employability. A person mentored who sees possibilities beyond their day-to-day experience and are inspired to do what it takes to make sustainable changes in their life. A new water well will bringing abundant, fresh, local water to a remote village eliminates the need for villagers to carry water for several kilometres every day. Assistant that helps first responders deal with trauma and overcome PTSD following major crises has a huge impact on mental health. Kids playing in running water on a water trailer learn the importance of face washing in eliminating trachoma. Vaccinations delivered in remote Pacific Island locations create a legacy of sustainable community vaccination capability. And the 8th, but by no means the last, but that's where I'll leave it, refurbished sewing machines delivered through our donations in kind warehouse to East Timor strengthen the economic independence of industrious individuals. Each of these demonstrates the potential for service to change lives. So what are my personal goals for the year ahead? I'm delighted to be, as Marion has already kindly referred, I'm delighted to be beginning the new Rotary year with the soon-to-be delivered audio-visual technology to integrate the Zoom experience regularly into our meetings at the Sofitel. I'm hopeful that every meeting in 2021 will be in person, but I can't guarantee that, as recent events have demonstrated. For those members to be here, to enable members unable to be here to join us through Zoom is a real uplift for us all. Beyond that, we'll be able to connect with inspiring speakers from afar. This will be a game changer for our club. We will join together regularly and at specially created fellowship events that bring us together in an enjoyable way, and we're all yearning for that. Planning for these is already underway. We will be challenged to respond. Sorry, I better get my pagination right. Okay, sorry folks. We will be challenged to respond to Rotary International's President's challenge, and I'm going to throw another one out there, and that is it's a bold challenge to build Rotary membership by inviting at least one personal acquaintance to join our club in 2021-22. Well, let's give it a go. We will continue to build on our centenary celebrations and add to the impressive portfolio, which I would almost say have been a renaissance of project formation in our club over the last 5 years. these are going to be driven to impactful projects by champions throughout the club. We will modernise our financial structure and our fundraising capacity to expand our reach and impact. So, some thoughts on my leadership style. Personally, I think you may know from the way I operate, I try to listen and to bring everyone on our journey together. Every member's viewpoint matters enormously to me. I strive to serve the interests of the club as a whole. I strive to make timely decisions, some of which may involve challenging choices. And I also strive to be accountable and willing to explain the rationale for every decision we take. I plan to ensure particularly that the principles of the Rotary four-way test, truth, fairness, fostering goodwill, and building friendship are applied diligently and objectively in all decisions. So in concluding, I want to make it clear that my role as incoming president is to do four things. Firstly, to support the marvellous humanitarian projects that our project champions, project teams and committees have already created. I somewhat style this as a renaissance, as I think I've mentioned, because it really is an impressive portfolio. I want to actively encourage members to champion new projects that address emerging community needs. I want to strengthen the bonds of friendship in the club through fellowship, and I want to work hard to strengthen the club's sustainability and attractiveness to new members. I'm looking forward enormously to your support in moving our great club forward on this basis, and I thank you. Thanks so much, everybody. Now, we have some further things that we want to do, and I think before I introduce the new board to you, which will take a few minutes, I'd like to now call on our Zoom operators to play a music video, which has been put together by Maestro David Cran, which puts into music Rotary International's major theme for the year, and as best I can tell, one of the best sellers in the Rotary network already.
Serve to change lives, 'cause lives can be changed forever. Serve to change lives whenever we're working together. How do we do it anyhow? When to begin it now? Whom do we talk to? Anyone, everyone, everyone. So serve to change lives, 'cause lives can be changed forever. Serve to change lives whenever we're working together. Talk to someone right now. Start now and wow. When the right time arrives, you'll see you've changed lives. So serve to change lives, 'cause lives can be changed forever. someone right now. Start now and wow. When the right time arrives, you'll see you've changed lives. So serve to change a life.
Okay, now it's now time to introduce the board members. And just by the way though, David, you're amazing. Just a constant stream of creativity. We're going to get some more of that shortly, but thank you for your contribution. There's been quite a lot of change as the year begins, so I'm proud to introduce to you the board that will serve in 2021-22. I call on all board members present to please come forward and join me on the podium. We're by no means the whole board because there are several who have had to grab opportunities to go interstate to see friends and not so well relatives. Others are busy professionally and joining us from home. So the first board member I want to call to the podium is my successor in a year's time, and Chris, get a feeling for the atmosphere, enjoy it. Chris's career started as an apprentice motor mechanic, and he has risen to the position of chair of the Stillwell Group. Chris is the ultimate Rotarian, having been a member of 3 clubs and already experienced the presidency of another club. The next person I'd like to introduce virtually, and I know she's online, I think on her iPhone, is Bev Brock, my Vice President Humanitarian Services. Bev is well known to many of us, having joined Rotary Melbourne in 2006. She is an experienced non-executive director, author, public speaker, and a fabulous mentor for many people she has encountered over the years. Peter Davis, who is here with us today, will be Vice President of Club Management and Communications. Peter joined Rotary Melbourne the same year as I did, in 2008. He's an experienced commercial law in property and banking and finance, as well as an experienced mediator. I had the mistaken impression that his second job was as a hedge trimmer from a video that was shown last year, but Peter assures me his after-hours passion is really cycling. Russell Board, the Honorary Secretary, who I passed on probably one of the most difficult years a secretary has had to manage, and he's thanked me profusely for that. Russell will again be Honorary Secretary for the year ahead, having served in that role for the past 12 months. He worked for corporate member GHD Group for 40 years, the last 5 years as chairman. He joined the club as a corporate member and has previously been a Rotary member with Darwin and Cairns. Jing Lin, who is committed professionally today, is our new treasurer, honorary treasurer. Jing is a chartered accountant and is currently the senior financial accountant with the North East Link project. Jing has had senior financial roles in the Department of Transport, Department of Education and Treasury. She joined Rotary Melbourne just relatively recently in February 2019. Carolyn Ballard, who many of us have met, she goes by the name of Kaz amongst friends, joined Rotary Melbourne, will take on the role of Director Communication and Partnerships. She joined the club just a year ago as deputy and at that time, she was the Deputy Director Accommodation Services at La Trobe University. Since then, she's been elevated to the role of Director living at La Trobe. Kaz is passionate about grabbing her A6 every morning for a run, followed by a cappuccino at her local cafe. She also has an interesting side venture in bespoke floral bouquets. Mark Lacer, who is here, come on up, Mark, will be taking on the role of Director, Sustainability and Governance. Having joined us in May 2019, Mark has already served as a very energetic Chair of the Vocational Service Committee and has been involved in developing post-emergency responses with the Trauma Response Network. Her career focuses coaching, mentoring, leadership development and negotiating skills. She's had previous board experience and has completed an MBA. Bernie McIntosh, who I've known in the club as one of those tragics like me who's a St Kilda supporter, but he runs pretty deep, our Bernie, and owns and manages the Victorian Mortgage Group, which is a boutique lender of residential mortgage finance. And together with Virginia, his wife, runs a flower farm in the Macedon Ranges, which has some of the most amazing peony crops annually. He joined Rotary in 2005 after a very persuasive chat with our past member, David Whitner, and has thoroughly enjoyed the fellowship of our unique group ever since. Nick Pelham, who again is very busy with his role, cannot be here, but Nick joined Rotary also in 2006. His extensive career with Metro Trains spans infrastructure and complex project management roles. He has a PhD in infrastructure engineering. He's a fellow of both the Australian Institute of Project Management and the Governance Institute of Australia, and has served as a director of the Australian Childhood Foundation. Mark Pinoli. Mark, you're here. Come on up. Is our energetic Director International. Mark has a diverse career ranging from university research and administration, promoting social science research and to the federal government, making IT work astoundingly well for not-for-profits, including Rotary Melbourne, to international education development and to education development and community empowerment in New York. Iqbal Rita, is Iqbal here? I don't think so. I think he's joining us virtually. Iqbal joined Rotary in 2008. Iqbal's one of the humble, quiet achievers around the club. He is an IT professional, currently working on projects with the Department of Defence, so he doesn't tell us much about them. Iqbal has championed our iconic Young Achievers Award superbly for the last 5 years. Dr. Chris Soteropoulos, President-elect nominee and Director for Community Service, is involved in international commercialisation of legal services and is the current chair of the Health and Ageing Committee and a member of the Community Foundation Committee. Finally, two of our non-board members but who are vital to making the show work. Firstly is Claire Fraser, who joins us from Canberra. Claire is a Program and Governance Officer with the Australian Government. She has extensive Rotary experience in other clubs and joined Rotary Melbourne in 2019. Claire has postgraduate qualifications in international relations and international politics and public health. And finally, I think most of us know David Carruthers. How could we not? He was the Supremo of the Treasury for about 10 years. David is well known to many of us then and has kindly volunteered to support Jing Lin as she assumes the Honorary Treasurer role as Assistant Treasurer. So that completes the introduction of the board. I'd like you to join me in congratulating them all for accepting their role.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, I think we're nearing the end of this major event, and we're not doing too badly against the timing on the running sheet. We are actually, because we've got some entertainment to run now. Can I invite our entertainers, David Cram and Richard, to join us for their performance. Thank you.
Now, I understand that some of you will have to leave at 2 o'clock, and I will take no offence so long as you give me a little wave as you go and a thumbs up if I'm doing okay. Just don't wave if you're not that happy with the entertainment. I had a nice little spiel to introduce the composers whose songs I'm going to sing tonight or today. We're running out of time though, so I'm not going to do that in any great detail. When I greet people these days, I say how rather than the elbow or shaking the hand. But after today, I'm almost inclined to just use the peace sign, because I think more than ever these days we need to promote peace and humanity. And I think last year was a great year for shared humanity, and I think we all learned that. Some of the songs I'm going to sing today are rather black, in that they are about serious subjects or somewhat depressing subjects perhaps. A couple of love songs, or at least one love song. Tom Lehrer, some of you may know, was a mathematician. He went to Harvard at 15, graduated with his Bachelor in Mathematics at 18, an incredibly intelligent guy. Had the rare distinction of having 10 of his 12 songs on his first album banned by the BBC in England. So you can tell he was a really good satirist. I love Rudyard Kipling's poem, If you can keep your head while all those about are losing theirs, you obviously haven't grasped the seriousness of the situation. I would have loved to meet Professor Ruff, but I'm not sure that he's here today. He, I think, will be very well aware that the doomsday clock is now set at 100 seconds to midnight, which will show why one of the songs I'm going to sing is going to be very appropriate for us today. But to start off with, a song by Flanders and Swan, Michael Flanders and Donald Swan. They performed sitting down because Michael Flanders had polio, and he was not a stand-up comedian. Sorry about that, Michael. They wrote a very amusing series of songs. They compiled in the bestiary. When I first heard that, I thought it was illegal, but no, it's a collective noun, apparently, for animal songs. Their very first song was about a hippopotamus. Feel free to join in the chorus. A bold hippopotamus was standing one day on the banks of the cool Shalimar. He gazed at the bottom as it peacefully lay by the light of the evening star. Away on a hilltop sat combing her hair his fair hippopotami maid. The hippopotamus was no ignoramus and sang her this sweet serenade. Mud, mud, glorious mud, nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. So follow me, follow, down to the hollow, and there let us wallow in glorious mud. The fair hippopotama he aimed to entice from her seat on that hilltop above, as she hadn't got a ma to give her advice, came tiptoeing down to her love. Like thunder the forest re-echoed the sound of the song that they sang as they met. His inamorata adjusted her garter and lifted her voice in duet. Mud, mud, glorious mud, nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. So follow me, follow, down to the hollow, and there let us wallow in glorious mud. Now more hippopotami began to convene on the banks of that river so wide. I wonder now what am I to say of the scene that ensued by the Shalimar side. They dived all at once with an ear-splitting splosh, then rose to the surface again, a regular army of hippopotami, all singing this haunting refrain. Mud, mud, glorious mud, nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. So follow me, follow, down to the hollow, and there let us wallow in glorious mud. I mentioned Tom Lehrer before. He was a mathematician. He also worked at Los Alamos with other nuclear scientists and taught mathematics at Harvard and other universities for over 30 years. But as I say, a satirist. He knew Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and in fact wrote satire for the American versions of Beyond the Fringe and things like that. This is rather, I was going to say a revival song. It's more of a survival song. Let's see what you think of it. You have to listen carefully, though. When you attend a funeral, it is sad to think that sooner or later those you love will do the same for you. And you may have thought it tragic, not to mention other adjectives, to think of all the weeping they will do. But don't you worry, no more ashes, no more sackcloth, and an armband made of black cloth will someday nevermore adorn a sleeve. For if the bomb that drops on you gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know. Universal bereavement, an inspiring achievement. Yes, we all will go together when we go. We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on their insurance. Lloyds of London will be loaded when they go. Oh, we all will fry together when we fry. We'll be French fried potatoes by and by. There will be no more misery when the world is our rotisserie. Yes, we all will fry together when we fry. Down by the old maelstrom, there'll be a storm before the calm, and we will all bake together when we bake. There'll be nobody present at the wake, with complete participation in that grand incineration, nearly 7 billion hunks of well-done steak. Oh, we all will char together when we char, and let there be no moaning of the bar. Just sing out Te Deum when you see that ICBM, and the party will become as you are. Oh, we will all burn together when we burn. There'll be no need to stand and wait your turn. When it's time for the fallout and St. Peter calls us all out, we'll just drop our agendas and adjourn. You will all go directly to your respective Valhallas. Go directly, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Van one last chorus. We will all go together when we go. Every Hottentot and every Eskimo. When the air becomes Uranus, we will all go simultaneous. Yes, we all will go together when we all go together. Yes, we all will go together when we go. Now, to a bit of humour after that rather macabre song. Al Jolson was an entertainer in the early 20th century. He stole the song from a composer called Billy Merson. Billy sued him, didn't get the money back, so Jolie did well with his song. It's probably really very out of date, certainly not woke. My children don't think I'm very woke, but most of our songs are early 20th century, so I suppose that's to be expected. Please join in the chorus. You'll realise when that's coming up, when David starts to join in as well. This to me, while I tell you of the Spaniard that blighted my life. This to me, while I tell you of the man who pinched my future wife. 'Twas at the bullfight where we met him. We'd been watching his daring display. And while I went out for some nuts and a program, the dirty dog stole her away. Oh yes, but I've sworn that I'll have my revenge. If I catch Alfonso Spigoni, the Toreador, with a mighty swipe I would dislocate his belly jaw. I'll find this bullfighter, I will, and when I catch the bounder, the blighter I'll kill. He shall die, he shall die, he shall die, dilly I die, 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 he shall die, he shall die. For I'll raise a bunion on his Spanish onion if I catch him bending tonight. I know we shouldn't talk about religion, politics, sex, anything controversial at any of these sort of functions, but Tom Lehrer wrote such a delightful tune, and I know that Reg likes this one. I apologise if I offend anyone, but it is a poke at religion. It was written at a time when the Catholic Church was opening up the liturgy, changing from the Latin Mass to the vernacular, and introducing more reforms, more freedom into the services. And so Tom thought it would be very appropriate to write a song reflecting that in ragtime. So. First you get down on your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect. Do whatever steps you want if you have cleared them with the pontiff. Everybody say his own Kyrie eleison, doing the Vatican rag. Get in line in that processional, step into that small confessional. They're the guy who's got religinal, tell you if your sin's original. If it is, try playing it safer. Drink the wine and chew the wafer. 2, 4, 6, 8. Time to transubstantiate. So get down upon your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect. Make a cross on your abdomen. When in Rome, do like a Roman. Ave Maria, gee, it's good to see ya. Getting ecstatic and sort of dramatic and doing the Vatican rag. Now this last one is a tribute to Marion, who is, it seems to me, somewhat Scottish, but very dinky-die Australian as well. And we're going to change the chorus in this song. And the last 2 lines, I'd like you to join in with me, are going to be something like, for dinky-die Rotarians will ever meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of the Yarra. So we'll try this one out. By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. For he'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. For dinky-die Rotarians will ever meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of the Yarra. Thank you.
I've asked, and Richard, thank you. And by the way, for those who I didn't inform, it is Richard Hobson who has done that amazing performance with David Cram. Thank you both enormously. And Richard's not only had to sing for his supper, I'm going to ask him to do the formal duties of drawing the raffle, and I know a lot of people are hanging around really to find out the result of that.
I thought they were here for the singing.
Here we are.
Raffle. Phil Lindersby.
Phil, you're becoming a serial raffle winner here.
He's agreed to generously donate his raffle right now.
It's not a bad one this time. I'd consider that. One thing I missed doing was providing to Marion an important thing that I should have given her before, and that's her special Rotary Melbourne badge. Can I close the meeting now by doing two things? Firstly, thank you to our distinguished guests and in particular our district visitors, and thanks everyone for attending today. It's been a great event from my viewpoint, and one I'll remember for the rest of my days. But to close the meeting, I'd just like to remind everyone that our next week is an in-person only lunch until we get our hybrid technology. It's the Sofitel's number 35 restaurant, our usual spot. Our guest speaker is AFRI Ozcare's CEO and founder, Selba Gondoza-Luca, and her story, I believe, will be a must-see. Look to your bulletin for more information. I hope you can all join us. Now, I close the meeting in calling on Maestro David to lead us with the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, one person I omitted mentioning, and I'll pay a huge price for not, is my wonderful daughter who's in London, who we gave a leave pass because it's 3 a.m. there right now. But thank you, everyone.